Hello and welcome students. In the last video lecture, I had explained you the first type of good subsidiary books, that is purchase book. In that we had studied the three different types of purchase book, that is simple purchase book, columnar purchase book with different types of goods, and columnar purchase book with expense column. Now in this video lecture I am going to explain you the second type of good subsidiary book, that is sales book, and three practical sums related to three different types of sales book. Okay, so for that I am explaining you today question number 7, that is on page number 152. In the last video lecture I explained you question number 4, 5 and 6 that was related to purchase book. Now in this video lecture I am going to explain you question number 7, 8 and 9 that is related to sales book. Okay, so let us read first of all question number 7. From the following transactions, prepare sales book in the books of Sri Prabhat Hardware Stores, who is an iron trader. We have to prepare the sales book in the books of Sri Prabhat Hardware Stores, who is an iron merchant or an iron trader. Okay. Now the transactions that are given to you, first of all this type of book, transactions over here in case of Prabhat Hardware Stores, that are all related to simple sales book. Just as there was simple purchase book, over here there is a simple sales book. It means that he is dealing only in selling of only one product, that is iron related products. Okay, so over here we don't have to prepare the columnar sales book for goods as well as columnar sales book for different types of expenses. Okay, so this example is related to simple sales book. Okay, so first of all let us verify the format of simple sales book. As you can see on the board, the heading that I have given, that is sales book. The format that is almost the same as that of simple purchase book. Only the difference that comes in between the purchase book and sales book is there. Here it was coming inward invoice number in case of purchase book, while in case of sales book it would come outward invoice number. Here in the column of name of supplier it was coming in the case of purchase book. But in case of sales book, name of customer to whom we are selling the goods. In case of purchase book, we are getting the goods. We are supplying the goods from any of the particular customer. So name of the supplier is coming in case of purchase book. But in case of sales book, name of customer will come. Okay, because we are selling the goods to a particular customer. So first column is same as in case of purchase book and sales book, that is of date. Second column in case of sales book, that would be of name of customer. Then afterwards outward invoice number, LF number, that is same in case of purchase book and sales book, common, and amount rupees, that is also the same column. Only the basic difference comes in this two column, that is here it will come name of customer and here it will come outward invoice number, not inward invoice number. Okay. Now we will start with the first transaction. Let us read the first transaction, that is 2015 June 1st. Sold goods of rupees 20,000 to Neha on 3 months credit and bill number 80 cent. We have sold the goods to Neha on credit. Already students, we have discussed while discussing the goods subsidiary books that only credit transactions will be recorded in goods subsidiary books, and any of the asset related transaction will not be recorded in goods subsidiary books. Also I discussed that if half transaction is cash payment and half is credit transaction, then we have to consider the full transaction as a credit transaction and it will be recorded in the concerned goods subsidiary books. Okay, so these are the main things you have to remember while posting the entries in the concerned subsidiary book. Okay. Now, sold goods to Neha of 20,000 on 3 months credit. So over here there is no any credit discount, nothing is given. Already it is mentioned the name of the party, so it is understood that it is a credit transaction. So in the column of name of customer, first of all in the column of date we will write June 2015, first date, name of customer, that is Neha's account, bill number that is given to you 80, and the amount column will write 20,000. Okay. Next transaction, that is 8th date. Sold goods of 10,000 to Vidhi Stores at 5% trade discount and sent bill number 85 with carriage of rupees 400. Now over here we have sold the goods on credit to Vidhi Stores account. So first of all we will write the column, in the column of date, that is 8th date. In the column of customer we will write Vidhi Stores account. Bill number is also given to you, that is 85. And amount column that I have written 9,000 after subtracting the trade discount. Already students, we have discussed in journal entries also that trade discount will never be recorded in the books of accounts. Always we have to record such an amount after deducting the trade discount. So over here on 10,000 we have to count the trade discount, that is 5%. So on 10,000 5% will come to 500. So remaining amount that will come to 9,500. That I have recorded over here. One more thing in this transaction is given to you, that is carriage of rupees 400. Now this is a simple sales book. We are not preparing sales book with expense column. So this carriage transaction will not be recorded in this sales book. For that we have to write the entry in the journal proper. Okay, so that 400 rupees will not be recorded in the sales book. Next, 12th date. Sold goods of rupees 15,000. Now this transaction is a cash transaction, because if the word cash is not mentioned and if the name of the party to whom or name of the customer to whom we have sold the goods is not mentioned in the transaction, then it is to be understood that it is a cash transaction. Okay, so cash transaction will not be recorded in goods subsidiary book. So this transaction will not be recorded in sales book. Okay, next one, that is 15th date. Sold machinery of rupees 10,000 for rupees 3,000 to Prima. Now this is a transaction of assets, because machinery is an asset. Already I have discussed in the starting of this lecture also that any kind of asset related transaction will not be recorded in goods subsidiary book. So this will also not be recorded in the sales book. And then afterwards, 23rd date, sold goods of rupees 15,000 to Shimoli, 10% trade discount, and half of the amount immediately paid by Shimoli. Bill number 90. Now over here we have goods sold to Shimoli and half of the amount Shimoli has paid to us. But already I discussed that if half of the transaction is cash and half is a credit transaction, we have to consider the entire transaction to be credit and record it in the concerned goods subsidiary book. So here it will be recorded in the sales book. Okay. So first of all, in the column of date that I have written 23rd date, Shimoli's account, that is the name of the customer, bill number that is given to you 90, and amount column that I have written 13,500. The reason that is 15,000 goods sold at 10% trade discount. So 15,000 10% it will come to 1,500. So 15,000 minus 1,500 is equal to 13,500. So in the column of amount I have written 13,500 after deducting trade discount. Okay. After 23rd date, next 28th date. Sold goods of 20,000 to Riddhi at 10% cash discount on cash. Over here it is clearly mentioned that we have sold the goods to a particular customer on cash. So this transaction will not be recorded in the sales book because it is a cash transaction. Next, 29th date. Meet placed an order for supply of goods of rupees 15,000. Now this is a non-economic transaction because one of the customer has just placed an order. We have not sold the goods or we have not supplied the goods to that customer. So till the goods are not supplied to that customer, it becomes a non-economic transaction. So it will not be recorded in the sales. Last transaction, 30th date. Sold goods of 30,000 to Raj at 10% trade discount, bill number 95. Now this transaction will be recorded because it is a credit transaction. Okay. So in the column of date, I have written that is 30th date, name of the customer, that is Raj account, bill number that is given to you 95, and amount that I have written, that is 27,000, because goods sold that is of 30,000. On 30,000 10% trade discount, it will come to 3,000. So 30,000 minus 3,000 is equal to 27,000. So 27,000 is the amount after deducting the trade discount. Okay. Now all the entries, transactions we have posted in the sales book related to it. Now we will do the total of the credit sales. Okay. Just as we are writing in purchase book total credit purchase, over here we have to write total credit sales. Okay. So we have to do the column of the amount column, total of amount that is coming to 7,000. So this is an example of simple sales book. Now I am teaching you the second exam related to sales book, in which we have to prepare columnar purchase book with different types of goods that the particular trader is selling. Okay. So for that I am reading question number 8 of page number 153. Okay. Nitin stores deals in clothes. From foreign transactions, prepare columnar sales book in the books of Nitin store. Students, in the question it will be clearly mentioned that you have to prepare which kind of purchase book or sales book. Whether columnar purchase book with goods, simple purchase book, simple sales book, book or columnar purchase book with expenses or columnar sales book with expenses. It would be clearly mentioned in the question that which type of purchase book or sales book you have to prepare. Okay, so accordingly you have to prepare the format. Now, Nitin Stores deals in 3 types of clothes, namely cotton, khadi and silk. It means over here Nitin Stores is dealing in selling of 3 different types of clothes, that is cotton, khadi and silk. So here we have to prepare columnar sales book with different types of products, that is cotton, silk and khadi. Okay, so the format of the columnar sales book of products, that is here you can see 8 some heading are given, that is columnar sales book of Nitin Stores. Students, whenever you are preparing any kind of purchase book, sales book, purchase return book or sales return book, don't forget to give the heading of that particular sum. Okay, in whose book you are writing that transactions of purchase, sales or purchase return or sales return. Okay. Now the format of the columnar sales book for different types of goods, that is first column is same, that is date. Second column is also same as that in simple sales book, that is name of customer. Then also output invoice number is also same, LF number is also same. Now the difference arises from here. Here in amount column there are 2 parts. First is amount rupees and then I have written total amount. In amount rupees there are 3 different columns that I have made for 3 different goods the particular trader is selling. Okay, that is cotton, khadi and silk. And last, that is the grand total of all the 3 products. Okay, so this is the format of columnar sales book with different products. Okay. Let us read now the first transaction of 8th sum, that is 2015 May 1st. Sold to Janaki Stores 100 meters cotton cloth at rupees 40 per meter, 200 meters khadi at rupees 20 per meter and 50 meters silk at rupees 200 per meter with 10% rate discount. Bill number 125, credit period 3 months. Now students, in case of columnar sales book, you have to be very careful that you are writing the correct amount in the correct column. Now over here the amount of cotton, if you by mistake written khadi column or silk column, then your answer would come incorrect. So it is you have to be very much careful and cautious while you are writing the amount in the concerned column. Okay. Over here you have to verify first of all that it is a credit transaction. Yes, it is a credit transaction. Then it will be recorded in the columnar sales. Okay. So first of all you can see I have written the first transaction, that is 2015 May 1st. Janaki Stores account, that is the name of the customer to whom we have sold the goods. Bill number that is given to you 125. Now in the column of amount, first of all let us see 100 meters cotton cloth at rupees 40 per meter. So 40 into 100 it would come to 4,000. On 4,000 10% rate discount it would come to 400. So 4,000 minus 400 it would come to 3,600. Okay. Next one, that is khadi, 200 meters khadi at 20 per meter. Again over here 200 into 20 it would come to 4,000. On 4,000 10% it would come to 400. So 4,000 minus 400 in the column of khadi also it would come to 3,600. Now for silk. Let us see, for silk it is given to you 50 meters silk at rupees 200 per meter. So 50 into 200 it would come to 10,000. On 10,000 10% rate discount it would come to 1,000. So 10,000 minus 1,000 is equal to 9,000. So in the column of silk that I have written 9,000. Always you have to write the amount after subtracting the trade discount. Okay. Now the total of all these 3 values, that is of 3 different products, cotton, khadi and silk, that would come to 16,200. That you will write in the grand total column. Okay. Now the first transaction is complete. Let us read the second transaction, that is on 8th date. Sold to OP traders 200 meters cotton cloth at rupees 60 per meter and 80 meters silk at rupees 190 per meter at 10% rate discount. Goods sold on 2 months credit. Bill number 126. OP traders paid half of the amount immediately in cash. Now over here the customer is selling the goods, the trader is selling the goods to OP traders only 2 products, that is cotton and silk, and that too it is on credit transaction only, but over here OP traders has paid half of the amount in cash to us, but we have to consider the transaction as fully a credit transaction and it will be recorded in the columnar sales book. Okay, so this transaction will be recorded in the sales book. Here you can see I have written 8th date in the column of name of customer, that is OP traders account. Bill number that is given to 126. In the column of cotton that I have written 10,800 10,800 K, that is 200 meters multiplied by 60 per meter, it would come to 12,000. For 12,000, 10% trade discount, it would come to 1,200. So 12,000 minus 1,200, it would come to 10,800. Okay. Next one that is given for you, silk. 80 meters silk at rupees 190 per meter. So 190 into 80 will do. Whatever the amount comes, on that you will subtract 10% trade discount. After subtracting 10% trade discount, the amount that will come 13,680. In the column of khadi, you will put dash, because no any khadi material goods, khadi clothes have been sold to copy traders. So only two different types of clothes has been sold to copy traders, that is cotton and silk. So the total of these two amount, that would be 24,480. That will come in the column of total amount. Okay. After 8th transaction, let us see 15th transaction. Sold to Nissan Trading Company 100 meters khadi and 50 meters silk at rupees 40 and rupees 200 respectively. Nissan Trading Company paid amount immediately by check at 10% trade discount and 10% cash discount. Now over here we have sold the goods to Nissan Company on cash, because immediately the Nissan Company has paid the amount in cash. So it is a cash transaction. Entire amount is paid in cash. So this transaction will not be recorded in the columnar sales. Okay. Next one, that is 20th date. Preeti Stores placed an order for the supply of 40 meters khadi, 60 meters cotton cloth and 100 meters silk cloth. Here also one of the customer has placed just an order. We have still not supplied the goods to Preeti Stores. That's why it becomes a non-economic transaction. So it will not be recorded in columnar sales. Okay. Next one, 22nd date. Supplied goods to Preeti Stores as per order under bill number 128 at rupees 30 per meter, 50 per meter and 220 per meter at 10% trade discount allowed. Now we are supplying the goods to Preeti Stores on which date? That is 22nd date. Okay, so on 20th date, that transaction will not be recorded being a non-economic transaction. But same transaction, whenever the goods are supplied to Preeti Stores, that is on 22nd date, that transaction will be recorded in the columnar sales. Okay. So here you can see the column of date that I have written 22nd date, Preeti Stores account, bill number that is given to you 128. Now how the amount of cotton. For cotton you have to see that is 60 meters cotton cloth and first of all that is 40 meters khadi at rupees 30 per meter. So 40 into 30 it will come to 1200. On 1200 10% trade discount it will come to 120. So 1200 minus 120 it will come to 1080. So in the column of khadi that I have written 1080. Okay. Next one it is given to you, that is 60 meters cotton cloth at rupees 50 per meter. So 60 meters cotton cloth at rupees 50 per meter. So 60 into 50 it would come to 3000. On 3000 10% trade discount it would come to 300. So 3000 minus 300 in the column of cotton that I have written 2700. And the last that is 100 meters silk cloth at rupees 220 per meter. So 100 into 220 it will come to 22,000. On 22,000 we will subtract 10% trade discount, so it will come to 2,200. So 22,000 minus 2,200 it will come to 19,800 in the column of silk. Okay. Now we have to do the total of all the three values, that is 2,700 plus 1,080 plus 19,800. In the grand total column it will come to 23,580. Okay. Now after that we are doing 22nd transaction, 26th day, sold to Desai and Company cotton cloth of rupees 15,000 at 10% trade discount under bill number 129. So it is a credit transaction, only we are selling the cotton cloth to Desai and Company. So only the amount will come in the column of cotton. Okay. So first of all in the column of date that we have written 26th day, name of customer that is Desai and Company account, bill number that is given to you 129, amount column that I have written 13,500, that is 15,000 minus 10% trade discount, that is 1,500. So 15,000 minus 1,500 after subtracting trade discount, the amount in the column of cotton that will come to 13,500. And in the column of khadi and silk you will put dash, because no any goods of khadi and silk that are sold to the customer. Okay. So directly the same amount will come in the total amount also, that is 13,500. Okay. Now moving on to last transaction, that is on 30th date. Sold to DCM cotton cloth goods of rupees 20,000 at 5% trade discount. Now we have sold the goods to DCM stores, and that is for credit only, because the name of the customer to whom we have sold the goods is mentioned over here. But one thing over here, that is 13% value added tax is given to you. That tax will not be applied over here because we are not preparing the sales book with column of tax. It has not been mentioned in the question that you have to apply the tax on the sale of the goods. So this tax value will not be added in the goods sold transaction. So only here the goods for those amount that has been sold, that will only be mentioned, not the value of the tax will be added in it. Okay, so this transaction of value added tax, that is just for this kind, it will not be noted down in the sales book. Okay. Now over here, that is 20,000 goods at 5% trade discount of cotton cloth. So 20,000 5% it will come to 1,000. So 20,000 minus 1,000 is equal to 90,000. Okay. So last transaction that I have done in the column of date, that is 30. In the column of name of customer, that is DCM stores account. Bill number that is given to you 130. And in the column of cotton that I have written, that is 20,000 minus 1,000 is equal to 90,000. And in the column of khadi and silk I have put dash. And last the column to grand total also, that will come same, that is 90,000. Now we have to do the total of the entire sales book, columnar sales book, that is total credit sales. We have to do the total of all the three different products that the trader is dealing with. Okay, so total of cotton, that is coming 49,600, total of khadi, that is coming 4,680, total of silk, that is coming 42,480, and the grand total of all the three products sold, that is coming to 96,760. You have to verify, students, that the vertical total and the horizontal total, that should come equal. Then your answer is correct. Okay, so this is the second type of sales book that we have studied, that is columnar sales book with different kinds of products the trader is selling out. Okay, now the third type of sales book that I am going to teach you today, that is columnar sales book with expense column. Okay, so on that basis, the next sum that I will be teaching you, that is question number 9, that is on the same page 153. Let us read that question first of all. From the following transactions, prepare sales book with column of expenses. See, it is clearly mentioned over here that you have to prepare columnar sales book with expense column. In the books of Sachin Stores of Navsari, Sachin Stores maintains record of expenses like GST, railway fare and labor. It means here you have to maintain the columnar sales book with expense column together with the GST column also. Already we have studied the three different types of GST, that is within the state. Then two different types of taxes will be applicable, that is CGST and SGST. But when the transaction takes place outside the state with another state, suppose with Gujarat and Rajasthan, between Gujarat and Rajasthan, then only one tax will be applicable, that is IGST. Okay, so that three columns we have to prepare for different types of GST. Next one, prepare sales book by applying total GST rate of 18%. Now over here the total GST rate that is given to 18%. So for IGST we have to apply only one tax, that is fully 18%. But in case of transaction within the state, then we have to apply two different tax, that is CGST and SGST, each of 9%. Okay, so if the transaction within the Gujarat, if it is taking place, because here the trader is belonging to Navsari, that is in Gujarat state. So if the transaction is taking place within the state, then you have to apply two different tax, each of 9%. That is CGST also 9% and SGST also 9%. Okay. Now further, prepare sales book by applying total GST rate 18%. GST is not included for the following transactions. Add applicable amount of GST and prepare sales book. It means you have to add the amount of GST. It is clearly mentioned. So we will add the amount of GST to the total amount of the goods sold. Okay, as it is mentioned in the question. Okay. Now first of all, let us see the format of the columnar sales book with expense column. First column, that is same, that is date column. Next one, that is name of customer, outward invoice number, LF number. Now over here, net amount of goods. Now net amount of goods means whatever the goods that has been sold to the customer, you have been writing the amount after subtracting the trade discount. So that's why it is called net amount of goods. Okay. Next column, that is of the expenses. There are two expenses given in the question that you have to read and find out how many types of expenses are there related to the question. Here there are two expenses, that is railway freight and labor. It means wages. So railway freight and wages, and the three different types of GST. That in output will come, and in case of purchase book the word input will come. Okay, so over here I have written output CGST, output SGST and output IGST. And last, that is the total column of all the different sub columns. The grand total will come in the last column. Okay, so this way you have to prepare the format for the columnar sales book with expenses. Now let us read the transactions one by one. The first transaction, that is 2018 December 1st. Goods sold of rupees 60,000 at 10% trade discount to Dhoni stores. Railway freight is rupees 2,000 and invoice number 101. Okay, we have sold the goods to Dhoni stores. So here you can see the column of date. First of all, I have written 2018 December 1st. Dhoni stores account, name of customer, bill number that is given to you 101, and in the column of amount, that is 60,000 goods at 10% trade discount. So 60,000 minus 10%, that would come to 6,000. So remaining amount, that would come to 54,000. And railway freight that is given to you, that is 2,000. Okay, so in the column of railway freight, that I have written 2,000. Now we have to count the CGST and SGST over here. That is because this transaction is within the state. It is not mentioned the name of any of the city which is outside the state. So considering this transaction as within the state, we have to count CGST and SGST each of 9%. Okay, because CGST that would come 9%, SGST we have to count also 9%, and IGST that we have to consider of 18%. Okay, so here we have to count 9% and 9%. So we have to count 9% on which amount? That is 54,000 plus 2,000, not on 54,000. We have to count the CGST and SGST on the total amount including the expenses. So 54 plus 2, that is 56,000. On 56,000 you will count 9%, then it will come to 5,040 and 5,040. Okay, now the total of all these four columns, that is 54 plus 2, 56, 56,000 plus 5,040 plus 5,040, it would come to grand total, that is 66,080. Okay, so the first transaction that is completed. Now reading the 10th date transaction, goods sold of rupees 40,000 at 10% trade discount to Virat stores on cash of Gangtok, Sikkim, labor charge rupees 200. Now this transaction will not be recorded in this columnar sales book because it is a cash transaction. Only credit transactions will be recorded in goods subsidiary book. So it will not be recorded in the columnar sales book. Okay. Next one, that is 16th date, goods sold of rupees 30,000 at 5% trade discount on credit of 1 month to Reina. Bill number 110 sent after adding rupees 500 for labor and rupees 100 for railway freight. Now this transaction is a credit transaction, so it will be recorded in the columnar sales book. First of all, in the column of date, that is 16th date, name of customer, that is Reina account, and bill number that is given to you 110. Now in the column of net amount of goods, how much worth of goods we have sold, that is we have sold goods of rupees 30,000 at 5%. On 30,000, 5% it would come to 1,500. So 30,000 minus 1,500, net amount of goods that would come to 28,500. And railway freight that is given to you 1,000, and labor charge, that is wages, given to you 500. Okay, so the total of all these three columns, that would be coming to 30,000, because 28,500 plus 1,000, it would come to 29,500. 29,500 plus 500, it would come to 30,000. Okay, on 30,000 we have to count CGST and SGST at 9% each. Okay, so on 30,000, 9%, it would come to 2,700. So CGST will also be 2,700 and SGST will also be 2,700. Now the total of all these five columns, grand total, it would come to 35,400. Okay, now after completing the transaction of 16th date, next transaction, that is of 20th date, a machine of 35,000 sold to Jadeja stores. Now over here we have sold the machinery, so it is asset related transaction. We have already discussed that only goods related transactions will be recorded in the subsidiary books. So this transaction will not be recorded in the columnar sales. Okay, next, moving on, turning the page, that is 25th date. Goods sold of rupees 25,000 at 5% trade discount on credit of 1 month to Rohit of Jodhpur. Now over here we have sold the goods to Rohit, and he is belonging to another state, Jodhpur city of Rajasthan. So it becomes a transaction of between two different states. So over here only one tax will be applied, and that is IGST. Okay. Now we have sold the goods of rupees 25,000. So 25,000, 5% trade discount, it would come to 1,250. So the remaining amount that would come to 23,750. Okay. So here you can see in the date column that I have written 25th date, we have sold the goods to the customer, that is Rohit's account. Bill number that is given to you 115. Net amount that after subtracting the trade discount that I have written 23,750. And railway freight that is given to you 1,000. So railway freight in the column of railway freight I have written 1,000. And last tax it is given Rohit paid half amount of total amount immediately. Bill number 115. Half amount is paid in cash. So considering this transaction fully as a credit transaction, it will be recorded in the columnar sales book. That's why we consider this transaction fully as a credit transaction. Okay. So 23,750 plus 1,000, it would come to 24,750. On 24,750, we will apply IGST at 18% because it is transaction between two different states. Okay. So 24,750 multiplied by 18%, you will get 4,455. So that I have written in the column of IGST. Okay, remaining all columns will be dashed. Now the total of all these three amount, grand total, it will come to 29,205, including the expenses and the amount of IGST. Okay, so we have completed the 25th day transaction. Now moving to 30th day transaction. Goods sold of 15,000 at 10% trade discount on credit of 1 month to Umesh of Kolkata by adding railway freight of rupees 1,000. Now here also we have sold the goods to Umesh belonging to Kolkata. So it is in West Bengal state. So again it is a transaction between two different states. So only one tax will be applied over there, and that is IGST. Okay. So first of all in the column of date, that is 30th date, name of the customer, that is Umesh account, bill number that is given to 180. Now how much worth of goods that we have sold, that is 15,000 at 10% trade discount. So 15,000 minus 10%, it will come to 1,500. So remaining amount that will come to 13,500. Railway freight that is given to you 1,000. So 13,500 plus 1,000, it would come to 14,500. On 14,500 you will count IGST, that is 18%. Then you will get 2,610. Okay, that I have placed in the column of IGST. Now the total of all these three amounts will come to 17,110 in the total of grand total of, and the entire amount of the goods sold, including the expenses and the amount of tax, that will come to 17,100. Okay, and the last transaction, that is 31. An order of rupees 70,000 is received from Yuvraj. Now just till we have received the order, so it is a non-economic transaction till the goods are actually supplied to Yuvraj. So being a non-economic transaction, it will not be recorded in the columnar sales book. Okay, so last transaction will not be recorded in the sales book. Now after doing the entries or posting in the concerned sales book, we have to do the total of the credit sales. Okay, so the total credit sales, we have to do the total of each and every amount. Okay, so first of all the total of net amount of goods that will come to 1,19,750. Total of railway freight that will come to 5,000, wages 500, CGST and SGST both will be same amount, that is 7,740, 7,740. Total of IGST that will come to 7,065, and grand total including all the expenses and the taxes that would come to 1,47,795. Again I am repeating, students, after completion of the sum, verify that the horizontal total and the vertical total should come equal. It means it gives an assurance that your answer is correct. Okay, so that's the end of the sum that I wanted to complete today. And today we have completed the second type of goods subsidy books, all the three types, that is the sales book. In the next video lecture, I will be explaining you a complete sum in which you have to prepare all the four different types of goods subsidiary books, that is purchase book, sales book, purchase return book, and sales return book. Till then, goodbye, keep practicing, stay blessed.